Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome to Apex Racing TV's presentation of the Radical Esports Cup. J.R. Gregory here with you on the call. Beside me in the commentary booth, my partner Aaron Smith, and in the production carrier, our friend and colleague Joshua Wilkie. And the star of today's show, the fantastic Radical SR10. The Radical is one of the purest sports car experiences in iRacing, propelled by a 4-cylinder Ford EcoBoost turbo, putting down 450 horsepower. This car tips the scales 1,000 pounds lighter than an MX-5 Cup car. So with no ABS, no traction control, the SR10 can be a handful, but mastering this car will make you better at every car that you drive. And folks, we are showing the top split of the public server here, 2100 GMT Friday, as we do every week. So this is not a league event, not a private event. If you would like to join us here on Apex Racing TV and give these radicals a whirl, show up, sign up, and if you make the top split, you will be broadcast here on YouTube. And this week's 13-week schedule brings us all kinds of good tracks. We got the Nordschleife, Navarra, Portimao, Donington, Watkins Glen, VIR, I've got that one circled, Road America, Sebring, and the season finale at Interlagos. But here we are. Round 4 takes us to Zandvoort, located in the Netherlands, nestled into the dunes on the shores of the North Sea, actually very near the beach here, which I just realized not too long ago watching one of our Apex broadcasts. The first street race here was held way back in 1939. The permanent track was not constructed until after World War II, using roads left behind by the occupying German army. The first Grand Prix here having been run in 1948, and the track recently updated, most recently for Formula One, and that gave us our new scan that we're enjoying here today. Our current configuration is 2.6 miles, 4.2 clicks, and 14 corners. Current race record set back in 2021 by Sir Lewis Hamilton in a Mercedes F1 car. And so Aaron, this track, I absolutely love it. We were talking about this a little bit off the air, and one of the things I love about this track is kind of personal for me. I learned performance driving kind of in the country roads around the town I grew up in Florida, very much like this. Lots of sand, lots of hills, and lots of maybe ill-advised moves. But one thing I love about Zandvoort is it really reminds me of of bombing around in back roads out in the country. It could be a public road winding through the dunes, and these radicals absolutely eat up this course, and it's a really, really good track car combination. So what are you looking for out of these cars and these drivers this week?
I'm just looking for that performance that we're used to from these radical cars. It does kind of remind me as well of the British tracks that we get here. A surprising amount of undulation for a Dutch track, especially, as we all know, Holland is, I believe, the flattest country on earth, and it's not a flat circuit, which is very, very surprising, although some could put that down to the banking that they've purposely put on this track. But wow, that was a short qualifying session. Jeez, that is the shortest qualifying session we've had the entire season, and we are straight into the grid already.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. My goodness, the pretty short laps around here, but there is your qualifying order. We'll start with Andre Castro, who has snagged the pole position with a 129.186. Next to him, barely edged, James Berry, our repeat champion, actually leading this season thus far. In the next row, Lasse Sorensen next to Christoph Lipp, the alien of the group. I think he's sitting on about a 6.4 iRating. Dennis Kirakopoulos there in 5 next to Heinz Braun. Behind them, Paki Caruso and Andreas Friedrich. Marco Weaver and Paolo Gori will be in 9 and 10. Jorge Gonzaga will be next to Kim Andre Bjorklund back there in row 6. And behind them, lost my place, Samir Kadura will be next to Sally Wright, and Berger next to Chris Vetz. Kjetil Larson all the way back in 17th. I'm not sure if he failed to set a time. He's usually not that deep in the field, so he'll have his work cut out for him. And Gordon Hauge there bringing up the rear in P18. So as we wait for the lights here, it looks like we've got iRacing is going to force a start here in about 40 seconds unless the last missing car shows up. And it is Kirakopoulos, who tends to linger and make folks wait on the start. So when Denise shows up, we will get this one underway. And you see Castro there on the right-hand side in the number 2 car. He will have the outside entry into that critical turn 1. So Barry may have a crack here right off the start to make something happen. But there are the lights. We are ticking down, and we are green in the Netherlands. And Barry does get a pretty good start. We'll see what he can do coming down here into turn 1. It looks like he has actually got something done. There's a kerfuffle going on in the back. But Castro fighting around the outside. Barry manages to hold the lead. It's Barry from Castro, from Sorensen, from Christoph Lipp, and Heinz Braun has pushed his way forward. And Castro not giving up here, taking that inside line 3 wide now in the carousel. Holy cow, I was going to say there are multiple lines through that corner, and you just saw 3 of them at the same time on cold tires in the opening lap. And this one is turning out to be a barn burner right out of the gate.
Well, a barn burner. I don't even know how to just explain that move from Lasse Sorensen. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, that is surely going to end up on a highlight reel somewhere as James Barry tries to come back up the inside as we head into the middle stages of this first lap. And it looked like he got a really, really poor exit there out of turn 10. And now he's under pressure from the 2 cars behind of Heinz Braun and Castro, who now has dropped back. I think he might have picked up a slowdown somewhere as he's dropped 4 places on this first lap. And from what I'm hearing, he got a bit loose coming out of turn 10. So he's had a very, very poor first lap. But Lasse Sorensen, oh my lord, what a move. A second in the lead already with James Barry perhaps not expecting it and was thinking, oh, I'm just going to sweep around the outside. And in comes the Norwegian up the inside, in between the pair of them, and took the lead. And, well, we're going to get another replay of this beautiful move.
Yeah, that was just crazy. And like I said, Aaron, there are multiple lines through here. The traditional line would be to hug the inside, but if you watch F1 races here, you see those F1 cars kind of hanging on the right-hand curb going through there, and that is where the speed is on cars with downforce. So here we are riding along Looks like another replay here. Sorensen threading the needle, stuffing it down in the middle, pushing Barry wide, and he comes out of that from P1 all the way up to P3. And my goodness, that was quite a move. And fortune favors the bold as Sorensen beginning to drive away now. He's got that gap up to 0.8, and right now it is Sorensen from Barry, from Braun, from Castro, who, as was noted, has plummeted. Christoph Lipp also has lost one position, and that is your top 5. So no shortage of action there, and no. Bjorklund is going to hang that one sideways. I was going to mention, Aaron, that turn 10 is can be quite a handful. It is easy to spin the car for whatever reason. There's low grip there. You can over-rotate it on entry when you're trying to brake and trail brake through it. You can also over-rotate it on the power. So you've got to be very patient right there. And we saw Bjorklund demonstrating what happens when you're not.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times in this race already. Castro was the first one to do it, as here comes Christoph Lipp up the inside. That's extremely close between probably the 2 quickest drivers in this series. Castro hanging it around the outside, still on the inside. It will turn into the outside for this next corner for Christoph Lipp, and that's the better line for Lipp. But yeah, they're just going wheel to wheel there. I think that's Castro finally getting past Lipp as he sets on a charge, hopefully back up a couple of places. As well, that pole time from him was very, very impressive, but that first lap from him was not so impressive, as Heinz Braun possibly looking at a podium for this season. Barry wanting to get back onto the top spot, and Sorensen looking for his first win of the season as well, and he's looking fairly comfortable at the moment. Still got a fair while in this race to go, even though it's a fairly short lap time round here at Zandvoort compared to a lot of the other tracks we're going to visit. It's still about 1 minute and 30, so we will be here for a long time, as Sorensen, he just looks confident at the moment, which is a bit shocking, to be fair. He has been a bit inconsistent, as we've seen in the European series. He is pushing the car a fair amount, using the gravel on the outside there around the last corner. I wonder if that might have been an off track. So definitely pushing is Lasse Sorensen, and well, let's hope he doesn't over push the car. In the background you can see Castro going for the send on Heinz Braun, just about managing to get the car stopped, but not enough, as Heinz Braun goes back up the inside, and is Lipp potentially going to look for another move, as Castro looking desperate to get past his fellow opponents. He is looking extremely quick, but another mistake trying to overtake. He can't really afford to lose any more time than he already is.
Yeah, and, Castro kind of showing the aggression for which he has become famous and or infamous in this group, and actually stuffs it through there. So Castro's aggression paying off, but also when you're that aggressive with these radicals, he's taken withdrawals from the bank of grip, and if you flog those tires, get too much heat in them early, it will catch up to you later. But for now, Castro worked his way up into the podium positions. It's Sorensen from Barry, from Castro, from Braun, from Lipp, and you are right, Sorensen making this look like a walk in the park. He is driving smooth and easy, and adding a tick or two to that gap every time around. So Sorensen looking to drive away from this one. Of course, these radicals do generate quite a bit of slipstream effects, so there is an opportunity to do some drafting on this long straightaway, but so far haven't seen much come of it, aside from that maniacal dive last time around by Castro. So we'll see how these drivers approach turn 1 this time, and it looks like Josh is going to spool up a replay here of that dive, maybe by Castro.
Well, I don't know about you, Greg, but unfortunately cannot see this one, but I am not able to see it. But it looked like it was Caruso having a bit of an incident there, as well, he's fallen all the way down to 15th place. He was, I believe, at one point in about 7th, as he's got a battle right in front of his very eyes between Bjorklund and Haug. As we saw Bjorklund have his incident earlier on in the race. Turn 10, we've seen a couple drivers struggle through there. Like JR was mentioning, it is a very difficult corner because you're trying to put the power down through the wheels and turn at the same time. It is something that, you think would be fairly simple, but this track, a lot of corners here, you just have to be patient with the throttle. But luckily, this car doesn't have too much power, but it still needs a little bit of babying. Otherwise, as you've seen, you will end up spinning the car and overheat your tyres, and then it will just be a very, very long and painful race from then on. But like our top 12 drivers seem to be going fairly well at the moment. We're following Castro, who seems to be the quickest man on track right now, not by much, as Barry now looks like the quickest, but then Castro immediately usurps him by about nearly 0.2 of a second, and nearly 4/10 ahead of Sorensen. So Sorensen maybe just starting to slow up a little bit as we get into the groove of this race. His opening few laps of confidence might start to whittle away, as that was a bit of a mistake from James Barry coming out of turn 3, and he's lost about 4/10 during that one corner.
Yeah, and his reward for that is going to be having Castro all over him. And as I mentioned, Castro is not shy. If he sees a sliver of daylight, he's going to try to stuff that Radical in there. So we'll keep an eye on that one as we go around. And Sorensen still creeping away, added another 1/10 to his gap on that last lap. We're on lap 5, so he's building slowly. He's got up to about a 1.3 second gap and making this one look easy. So the real fight right now is between Barry, Castro, Braun, and Lip, who have trained up there to threaten Barry for that P2. And as Aaron mentioned, Barry washed out of that carousel just a little bit, maybe took it a little bit wide, trying to use that high Formula One style line through there. And he is going to have Castro all over him this time, headed down into turn 1. And we saw Castro roll the dice and stuff it in there once already. And Barry may be in danger of getting that treatment again this time around.
Oh, here we go. This is the move into turn 1. Is it going to work around the outside for Castro? It won't initially, but if he can just hang it around there, it will. And it looks like it's going to work for Andrea Castro. He just looks so rapid compared to a lot of other drivers today. You know, drivers who we would consider also absolutely rapid in this series, like the 3 drivers who he's already overtaken and made look like they're in a completely different class. I mean, Lip is a super quick driver. We know Barry is as well. Braun is one of the more up-and-coming drivers as well, and Sorensen will probably be his next opponent, as that is not quite the line Castro would have wanted, but still managed to make it look normal anyway, washing out very wide on the exit of turn 8. But because he's just so quick. Ooh, Sorensen, that is not what you want to be doing, and he's definitely feeling the pressure now. And, well, it was looking very comfortable for Sorensen just a few laps ago. I mean, we know how quick Castro is, but it's just knowing that Castro's there, and that's a hard spin for Sorensen.
Oh,
he's absolutely binned it nearly. And, wow, just the presence of Andrea Castro has made Sorensen soil himself, and 2 huge mistakes in 2 corners. Is he going to be able to come back into turn 1? He might damn well give it a go. Here comes James Barry as well. Into turn 1, Sorensen's going to look up the inside. Braun looks very too close, and that's contact. Braun goes round, and he's all the way down now to 6th place. I don't really know if Braun got distracted there, just looking at the battle in front of him. But he's lost another place as well to Jorge Gonzaga. But that was a very chaotic few corners. Here's another look at what happened to Heinz Braun. He just completely missed his braking point.
Yeah, that was a little sketchy, and Braun is another driver who is not shy and completely missed his braking point and almost got a piece of Barry there. And my goodness, Sorensen bitten by that turn 10. I'll tell you, it is so treacherous. You have to be so patient there. And Sorensen may be feeling the pressure from hard charging Castro behind, lights up those rear tires, and that temperature in him took a while to go away. And you saw him, the heat in the rears caused him to lose grip and get a little squirrely coming through this section last time. And that caused him to turn, lost 2 seconds, turned a 1.3 second gap for the lead to now 0.7 behind Castro, who wants to pull a Sorensen at this point and drive off. So now it's Castro from Sorensen, from Barry, from Lip, from Friedrich. and kind of a long train forming here. We'll see him start to weave to try to break up the draft. And I got to say, Lip is sniffing around behind Barry here going into turn 1. Thinks better of it. Plenty of time left to go, but yeah, really interesting how this one is unfolding. There's some fresh faces up front, and there's some uncharacteristic mistakes by some drivers that we associate with smooth consistency in these radicals.
Oh, that was close to contact as Braun nearly hitting the outside wall there at turn 3 with Gonzaga. And, well, Braun will definitely be trying to get past the Portuguese as soon as possible after that very, very costly mistake. I genuinely think he was just too distracted looking at the battle going up ahead as he's pushing the car now. That's going to... Oh, I thought that one was going off there, but he will lose another place to Karakopolis, surely. Up the inside goes the Swiss man and into 7th place, but Braun will send one up the inside into turn 10, and that is another bit of contact for Heinz Braun. And I think it's complete head loss here for the German, as his day is just getting worse and worse, nearly competing for a podium, and now is competing for the last scraps of the top 10 places. So that's a mistake for Corby, the Italian, at turn 12. A lot of drivers really struggling with this Zandvoort circuit, and it's quite surprising, to be fair. I did not think this car would be too difficult round here, but clearly it's seeming quite a handful.
Yeah, and you know, Braun chucking this thing around like somebody else's spec Miata and bouncing off of cars right and left. He's not going to be too popular in the paddock after this one, and bang, we see him send Kyriakopoulos into the kitty litter there. And my goodness, yeah, it is kind of interesting to see some of these drivers struggle out here. And it may be that you know, some of these low-speed corners where you have to be patient on the throttle, they're spinning up those rear tires and taxing the rear tires, heating them up. And you know, that's kind of cumulative. When you overheat those tires, you got to breathe for a second, let them cool back down, or it's just going to keep happening. And Braun, my goodness, down to P7 now. He qualified in P6, so overall he hasn't hurt himself that bad. But now looking forward to Jorge Gonzaga, +5 now. He's our hard charger currently. But yeah, very interesting run here, Aaron. This is the first time we've had these cars out here, to my recollection. So there may be some unfamiliarity with the track playing a role here as well.
I feel like we might have seen these guys here at Zandvoort at some point. I can't imagine we haven't been here before, but I could definitely be wrong. As well, here goes Christoph Lipp and James Barry wheel to wheel. We've seen this a couple times in the Radical European Series. Is it going to end cleanly this time? I think Barry just doesn't really have the speed that Lipp does, but still manages to hold on to the place. Track position is very, very important around here, as Lipp painfully is just going to have to wait for just at least another lap, I think, as it couldn't quite find a way past James Barry. But I'm just still shocked at the way Castro made, you know, some of the best drivers that we've seen in this series look like absolutely nothing. As Lipp, again, a formidable driver who is super, super quick, not only in this Friday Esports Cup, but also in the European Series. Barry, who's currently leading said championship. And yet Castro just drove past all of them like they were nothing, like they were AI drivers. And well, maybe Castro's just really getting on with this circuit a lot better than others, as I've not really seen anyone at this track today, apart from Castro, really get on with it. Everyone else just seems to be struggling and nursing the car. And, well, I could be on for the biggest jinx of my life, as, you know, he comes around the final few corners and he'll have a massive off. But genuinely, it was just weird, just seeing Castro in Sorensen's rearview mirrors, and he just couldn't handle it. He made 2 mistakes in 2 corners and, well, gave up the lead for it. But he's gained a couple tenths on this lap, so perhaps Castro might be struggling a little bit more than we thought.
Yeah, and you're too right about Castro kind of making these other drivers look like they don't know what they're doing. That outside move into turn 10 was just ridiculous, and you saw very good driver Christoph Lipp try to get that done on Barry on the last lap. He wasn't able to do it, so to brake late on the outside and trust the car and hold that outside line to make that pass work, absolutely epic. The move of the race for sure. And look at that gap now. We're up to 1.5 seconds now. We've got about 7 laps remaining. And I guess, as we've said, tire wear can be a thing in these races. So it's possible that Castro has overtaxed the tires, putting on the show that he has. So we'll keep an eye on him and keep an eye on that gap. But so far, it looks like he's going to drive away with this one.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same. As well, he was getting put pressure on by Sorensen, but I think Sorensen may have had a bit of an off somewhere in the middle of the lap, as he did lose a little bit of time in the first sector, but keeping everyone else behind at a steady pace. And well, I think from 5th to 2nd anyway, it could potentially just stay like this for the rest of the race. As well, I don't necessarily see anyone else really fighting for position, unless Lipp, who has looked quick these last few laps, admittedly. He could potentially get up into 2nd, but apart from that, I don't think we'll see too many moves. They all seem to be fairly equal, and if Sorensen can just get his head down and just accept that it will be 2nd place at best for today, as Castro just looks in another league, he might be able to hold on to this place and just get track position and make Christoph Lipp's life a little bit more challenging. But Lipp has picked up the paces these last few laps, and of course got past Barry and got past Braun because of that mistake, and will he be able to get into 2nd place as well? Further back though, Raikkonen is defending from Gory behind. Don't think there's too many other battles going on. Then we got Larson and Gordon Haug, who are fairly close as well, and Bjorklund. Those 3 cars are actually quite close. That could be a good one to watch, although it is only for 13th place. It's still racing nonetheless. But yeah, this Zandvoort circuit really putting these cars through the ringer, and I really wasn't expecting that, not at all.
Well, one thing that's surprising me, Aaron, I expected to see a little bit more slipstream action on that front straight. It is nice and long, and you get a great run onto it out of that banked final corner, and we're just not seeing much of it. Well, of course, Lasse Sorensen not helping Lipp take advantage of the slipstream there, but Lipp sticking his nose down the inside, can't quite do it. But I kind of expected to see the packs like this change the lead car on every lap due to the slipstream, and it doesn't seem to be working here the way it normally does. You're looking at 2, 3, 4, and 5, Sorensen, Lipp, Barry, and Friedrich, and there's about 2 seconds total covering all those cars. Lipp now sniffing around again. Is Sorensen having more problems with grip as we're getting near the back part of the circuit here? And I'm curious to see. I haven't seen anybody try to stick it into turn 10. And Lipp looking pretty racy here. Maybe that will cross his mind. It's just around the corner right up here, the slow left-hander that's been causing people trouble, and possible to stick it down the inside here. Lipp will show his nose, but thinks better of it. Sorensen, watch the back of that car for a wiggle. He gets out clean this time. But yeah, very interesting stuff here at Zandvoort. Really flip the script on what we normally see out of this field.
Yeah, definitely. It's really shown that, although sometimes these drivers can look a little bit robotic and amazing in the way that they drive, today's 100% proof that they're all capable of mistakes. They are all human after all. Even drivers like Castro, who, had a bit of a poor first lap, but then has turned into a bit of a robot and has just sodded off at the front. So fair enough from the American. But further back, here goes Castro. That's going to be contact surely, and he does bump the back of Sorensen, and I think he's just about gotten away with it as Sorensen stays on the track. I wouldn't be surprised if Lipp maybe just backs off and lets this one go, as he kind of accepts responsibility for that one. But James Barry might now have a sniff up the inside or outside heading into turn 7, as this part of the track is just wide enough for 2 cars, but it's not really recommended. And they all go single file into this long sweeping right-hander. And we do not, we must not forget as well that the dirty air around here, as you were talking about the slipstream, well, even though the slipstream is fairly powerful in these cars, the dirty air can catch you out as well. And with some of the corners at this track, I would not be surprised if that's why some people have been struggling. The dirty air just being a bit more strong than some people were predicting. And struggling to get the power down, struggling with the front end not biting the way that they'd want. But these drivers from 5th all the way up to 2nd still going fairly strong. But I still think it will probably end like this. I'm going to agree with you. I would have expected the slipstream to be a little bit more heading down into the first corner, as I don't think there's going to be any moves on this lap, as Lip is a bit further back than he was on the previous. But Sorensen's still weaving like it's like the second place is for his life. And that's James Barry going deep.
Yeah, Barry washing out a little bit on the entry to turn 1. And, one thing that I'm a little bit curious about, Josh, maybe you can throw up that weather widget for us. It's quite kind of foggy and misty here, and I'm wondering if we were dealing with some high humidity. Yeah, 78% humidity. Well, there's your answer, folks. I was out here in the practice session with these guys just prior to the race, and the track is super greasy, and it's far, far different from the grip you would get on a sunny day out here. So that may be part of what is wreaking havoc with some of these drivers. And we mentioned Sorensen struggling, and Sorensen just under massive pressure from Lip, and actually doing a pretty good job dealing with it. Lip is absolutely an alien, normally one of the fastest guys on the track, and it cannot be any comfort to see him back and forth in all 3 mirrors as you're heading down that straightaway.
We'll get to see who will end up where as we head into turn 1. Lip does look fairly close on this lap, and perhaps track extending slightly to just get as much speed around the final corner as he can. We've only got 2 laps to go here at Zandvoort, and that's the most weaving I've ever seen in my entire life. I think he probably would have gotten a black and white flag for that if he was doing that in real life, because that's a lot of weaving. So much weaving that he genuinely nearly crashed himself into the pit wall, as Heinz Braun still trying to get past Gonzaga, but just cannot do it. And, well, no matter how powerful the slipstream is, it's just so difficult to get a move done here, which makes it even more impressive just how easy it was for Castro to do it, with, going from 5th all the way to 1st within the space of, 4 or 5 laps? I mean, he has been just incredible today, and he'll be nonchalant about it after the race. You can just tell. He'll be like, yeah, it's whatever. Yeah. And that's what some of these drivers do. They just think it's just something anyone can do. And, well, Castro definitely proving, today at least, here at Zandvoort, that he is the top dog, as he has looked absolutely unbelievable. And we hope to maybe speak with him after the race.
Yeah, he really has. Look at that gap, 3.2. This is the top split, high strength of field. There's somebody off there on the left. What was that? That was Marco Weaver. And it shows that as a crash. I don't know if he had a disconnect or actually went wide and hit that barrier, but that was Weaver on the side of the road back there. Almost got clipped by these cars coming through, and riding with Barry here, looking up at Lip and Sorensen, and a little wiggle by Sorensen again is going to slow down Lip. And my goodness, I thought Barry was going to be able to take advantage of something there, and Lip is gone. It is now Sorensen, Barry, and Friedrich for 2, 3, and 4. And Barry smells blood in the water. He saw Sorensen wiggling. They're going side by side through the section of the track that Aaron said was too narrow. And
he's off.
There's the result. Barry hip checking Sorensen into the grass, and Barry moves all the way up into P2. Sorensen flashing his headlights clearly in congratulations of that move. And lap 17. Or is the white flag out? I'm completely befuddled right now. My goodness, as we get down to the end, Barry showing why he is leading in the championship, seizing the opportunity when it appears in front of him. That was nuts.
Yeah, that was absolutely just ridiculous, and a very, very rare mistake from Lip, just in desperation, I think, through those first few corners, and was stuck behind him for lap after lap. But, well, Andrea Castro was stuck behind nobody for lap after lap. He clawed his way back through the field, and he will take an absolutely amazing victory here at Zandvoort. That's probably one of the best I've seen for a while, as Barry and Sorensen were very, very close coming the line. And Frujic wasn't too far behind as well. He was just, he was always there, but didn't really do much in this. He just always spectated everyone else. And fair play, he picked up a couple places because of it as well. But here's a replay of what on earth happened in those first few corners. I think Sorensen got a bit scared by Lip, and then Lip tried to take too much speed through this corner, ran into the back of Sorensen, and just looped it completely. A very, very rare mistake. And then, here's where it really spiced up. I think it was netcode here, coming through turn 5 and 6. Yeah, that was big netcode between James Barry and Sorensen. But it was fantastic to watch. And Sorensen may realise afterwards that that was netcode, and definitely not malicious at all from James Barry.
Yeah, hopefully so. You could have fit a Volkswagen between those two cars. So pretty horrific netcode raising its ugly head there. But my goodness, what a race. And folks, really quickly, while we wait for the final results, let me run through the season standings with you that I wanted to talk about during qualifying. It was so short we didn't get to it. But after 3 weeks, the standings are Barry, Braun, Gonzaga, Caruso, and Friedrich, your top 5, and then Vitorino, Sanchez, Lip, Damari, and Myron Ianni. So as usual, you're seeing some of the best radical drivers in the world here on our Friday 2100 GMT broadcast, and they put on quite a show today. And there is Weaver. I don't know if there's an espresso stand there, or well, he is moving. Oh, he must have hit the barrier. That car does not look happy. It looks like his left front suspension is broken to me. Oh, interesting. Yeah, he picked up damage, and Josh pointing out that he just wanted to stay out of the way until the checker was flying so that he could get the finish. But my goodness, Weaver. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but clearly some kind of impact involved. But all right, so we're going to get those results up for you in a moment. Aaron will run through those with you, and I'm going to take a peek outside and see if there's anyone waiting to speak to us. So stand by.
Well, here are the results of what was an absolutely thrilling race here at Zandvoort, and well, some people wishing we could come here every week. I don't think the drivers want to, as well. They all hated it, apart from Castro, who ended up winning by 4.3 seconds. And bear in mind, he was 5th at one point after a pretty poor first lap. He just plowed through everyone like it was absolutely nothing. Honestly, hats off to Castro. That was an absolutely amazing race by him, and really proving why he is top dog in these parts. But, well, the rest of the grid had a bit of a tougher time, as James Barry ended up in 2nd place after all of that. And, well, he had to be a bit patient, get his elbows out, but he managed to do it, and will probably still be leading the championship after this one, as Sorensen, who was leading for a few laps, just couldn't hang on to it. I think a little bit of pushing on those opening laps kind of cooked his tyres in the end, but still grabbed a cheeky podium to round it off, and probably will get overtake of the season, because that really was something on the first lap. Andreas Friedrich as well, doing fairly well in 4th. Christoph Lip, a rare mistake from him, dropping down to 5th. Gonzaga had a very silent and quite a good race, holding off Heinz Braun as well. They finished 6th and 7th. And then everyone else just got some catching up to do for the next few weeks, as Karakopoulos was 8th, Brightonen in 9th, Gory in 10th, Caruso in 11th, Berger in 12th, Larson in 13th, Gordon Haug in 14th place, Bjorklund 15th, Weaver in 16th, Cadora in 17th, and Chris Wetz, who not sure what happened to him, but he's 15 laps down and in last in 18th place. So that was a pretty damn good race. I believe we have the Nordschleife next week, so bit of a jump between Zandvoort and then the Nordschleife, but hey, I'm looking forward to it. The Nordschleife is always great in these cars.
Yeah, looking forward to it as well. And our interview room is packed right now. And it looks like we've got the whole podium. So I'm going to roll the dice and guess that A ... is Andre Castro. We'll drag him in, and you can ask him about his little track day here today.
Oh, an absolute pleasure. Welcome, Andrea, to the interview box. And I have never seen such a dominant performance in 18 laps at Zandvoort in my entire life. You made this look easy, clawing your way through about 4 cars within a matter of laps, got back in the lead, and just ran away with it. Tell us, how are you feeling after that one?
Yeah, thanks. Pretty good. The starts, got to work on those a little bit. Definitely gave up another spot there, a couple spots, I guess, after Lassie made that good move in the banked corner, in the bowl corner. But yeah, after that, I just kind of put my head down and tried to get through everybody. And yeah, that move around turn one around the outside was good. And then Lassie just made a mistake leading. So after that, I was just able to put my head down and keep going. I think they battled a little bit, so I definitely helped my margin in the end. But yeah, I definitely got to work on the starts, and then hopefully it'll just be smooth sailing from there. But it did make it a bit more fun to pass these guys and race with them, so I appreciated that, and they raced clean, so yeah, it's a good race.
Yeah, it was an amazing one to watch as a whole, but could you kind of explain why this track just seemed to be incredibly difficult as in these cars? You seem to be a little bit more comfortable, but nearly all of the grid today were really, really struggling. Was it the temperatures, or just was it maybe the setup? Could help explain that one a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of different types of corners with pretty high speeds. So yeah, between those high speed corners, a lot of variation. So you have the banked corners, and then you also have like this off-camber left-hander, which I personally struggled a lot with. That was the corner that I struggled with the most, honestly. Just the first 2 or 3 laps, if you try to brake late into there at all, you just spin out. So I had to get comfortable there the whole race. And yeah, everywhere else is just, hitting your apex at really high speed, high commitment. So if you kind of miss the apex by a few feet, then it's gonna have a pretty negative impact on your corner. So yeah, and the car itself, just sometimes if you lock a front tire, you can definitely kind of shoot past the apex and get in a bad spot. And then once if you ever overshoot the apex and you try to get it back in and kind of use the throttle to turn it, a lot of the time the rear will just completely snap. So yeah, you have to be careful on entry and then also on exit with the rear. So yeah, it's a challenging car to drive, but if you get in the rhythm of things and kind of use the brake to get the car to turn a little bit on the entries, then it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, I can definitely agree on that. It is a beauty to drive once everything is all hooked up. And, well, if people thought that today was a bit of a struggle, we go to the Nordschleife next week, so that's going to be fun. How are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting. Again, if I'm here, it'll be a really fun time. I think last time I raced there, I didn't do so well in this car and had a crash, so I'm definitely looking to improve on that. And it's just such a special track. Maybe we'll get some Nordschleife bringers coming in and spoiling the party, but we'll see. Should be a fun race.
It's always a great spectacle at the Nordschleife, especially in these radicals every season. It's just something insane always happens, and I'm expecting the same next week. Well, thank you for coming and having a chat with us, Castro. Congratulations on that victory that was just insane. And so before we let you go, anyone you want to give a mention or shout out?
Yeah, again, teammate Chris Wetz, Colin Brown on Discord. He won a big money race this week and won a brand new rig, so that was cool for him. And yeah, thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Once again, really professional. So I'll let you know if I think of anyone new to thank. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And whoever made the setup, I guess, it was good, so thanks.
Well, some bloke at iRacing is blushing right now, so... Well, thank you for coming and having a chat with us, Castro. Always a pleasure, and good luck for the Green Hell next week. And he's gone.
That's a little premature, sorry, Aaron. Oh my goodness!
Trying to thank the man.
Now we have got to give our welcome to P2 James Barry, who my goodness, the door of opportunity knocked, and a big part of this can be just putting yourself in position to take advantage of when those opportunities arise, and you definitely did, James. So talk us through that last lap. That was pretty epic.
Yeah, I had a big smile on my face after that because I was struggling so much the whole race. I was struggling for grip, and obviously Lasse, Christoph were very fast, very aggressive. I couldn't keep up with them. It started from lap 1 really. I was trying to overtake Lasse for the lead after he did some incredible move on the hairpin. I say incredible, it was pretty risky, but I kind of backed out a bit, and it all played out okay. And then I just started cooking my tyres trying to get past him, and then from there on I just kept falling down and just was trying to hold on to what I could, and it all bunched up at the end on that last lap. And yeah, I mean, I bet it was amazing to watch because that was just really, really intense in the cockpit. And yeah, very happy to get away with a P2 there.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I love the kind of no hesitation. You're behind Sorensen coming out of the carousel, and I don't know if he got a bad exit, but a little in shades of Sebastian Vettel, you took to the grass to make that pass happen. A little bit of net code. And resulted in some contact that wasn't really contact, but yeah, fantastic show. And while we were we pulled up our weather widget during the broadcast, 78% humidity, so the track certainly looked hella greasy today, and that may be the reason. But I think everybody was struggling except Castro, and I gotta say that move on the outside of turn 1 around you was nuts, and may have been the move of the race aside from your big move up on the final lap. So fantastic stuff. And what are you thinking about the Green Hell coming up next week?
It's going to be good. First, I'll say that I really enjoyed this track this week. I think we need to do more tracks like this. Not that there's many other tracks like this, but really good racing here. I think you saw in that race, just incredible race. And Nordschleife, of course. So we're doing the European Championship final round next week, so we're going to be just practicing for that. And I do really enjoy the Nordschleife, to be honest. I don't love racing there, but obviously to drive it's amazing. So yeah, should be good again. And yeah, I'm sure it'll be good.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you as always, James, for popping up in the booth with us and sharing your insights. But as we wrap up here, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out or thanks to today?
I'll echo what you said for Andre Castro. Hats off to him for being the one who kind of got through everyone and got away from everyone. And then shout out as well Lasse and Christoph for that racing. It was all very tense, but all pretty clean in the end. So yeah, and thanks to you guys as always.
All right, very good, James. So we will see you next week at Nordschleife. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you. See you. Bye.
All right, and our last interview here today, Aaron, will bring in our P3 driver, Lasse Sorensen.
Thank you so much.
Well, welcome to the booth, Sorensen. And I mean, shock. The first thing I'm going to ask is that turn 3 overtake on lap 1. Just tell us, what were you thinking doing that move, and why was it so good?
If gap, full throttle, something like that. So I just went for it. I saw it was space for a car and the car in between, so I thought I had the good entry speed and I had a good grip to the corner, so then I just went full throttle and hoped for the best there, to be honest.
Well, sometimes the best moves are like that. You just kind of think, oh, beep it, why not just send it up the inside, we'll see what happens. And it worked, and it looked absolutely beautiful. You ended up taking the lead because of it. And, well, it looked a little bit of a struggle from then on. Did you maybe push the car just a little bit too much in those opening few laps, or was the car itself just a bit of a handful today?
No, it was a handful for sure, but I had, let's see, one day ago, 3 laps with practice in official practice, and then I went into the session today and I managed to get 3 laps in the practice there, so I had 6 laps with practice here before the qualifying. So to be honest, I'm surprised I was so far in front of the grid, and especially the pace through the race, so it was just a lack of skill today, to be honest. So I struggled with the car, especially from lap 8-9, I think I did that mistake. So Castro did catch up, and after that it was a struggle, to be honest.
Well, I mean, if a lack of skill is getting you podiums, then I want to see the weeks where you are practicing. My God.
Me too.
That would be, yeah, that would be absolutely insane. But,
Yeah.
well, speaking of practice for future weeks, we head to the Nordschleife next week. Tell us how you're feeling for that.
It's my absolute favorite tracks. I have, I don't know how many laps I have in Nürburgring this year, but probably a couple of thousand, maybe 3,000 laps there in P Cup. Because I do the Nürburgring Endurance Championship, and I also do always the official radicals. So I think I'm pretty ready for around that Nürburgring.
Well, I can't wait to see what kind of performance we get from you next week at the Nordschleife. That should be good fun to watch.
Yep.
Well, thank you for coming and talking with us, Lasse. It's always a pleasure. But before we let you go, anyone you want to give a mention or shout out to?
As always, you guys for the broadcast. It's awesome, and I always look it after the race is finished. And my teammates and also our sponsors, especially IGL Coatings and Sande Trafikkskole.
Well, thank you for the kind words. Always appreciated. And good luck for next week at the Nordschleife.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, that will wrap our interviews today. And just a reminder, folks, we are not just about these fantastic radicals here on Apex Racing TV. As the summer fades away and the rainy days of winter are approaching, it's time to get racing, and our schedule is getting packed here. Sunday, we have the Racing Unleashed GT3 Series at Spa. Monday brings the Rikmatech World Challenge also at Spa. Then on Tuesday, the Asphalt ACC NM 2024 race will be round 4 at Valencia. Thursday, Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship looks like round 6 or season 6, round 3 at Barcelona. So we have got some of the best cars, best tracks, and best drivers in the business. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tick that notification icon so that you don't miss any of the action. And my goodness, Aaron, what a barn burner today. And I should have realized there was something going on with the humidity when it started, because the track was so greasy, but really interesting to see how these guys adapted to it. Obviously, Castro adapted very well to it, and some of the other drivers less well, but another fantastic race here in the Radical Esports Cup. So what are you looking for? Do you have any thoughts about today, and what are you looking forward to at the Green Hell?
Well, I think the race today was absolutely brilliant, as it usually is in the Radicals. I kind of think we can go to any track at this point and it will just provide a good race. We could go to Cadwell Park, which is literally as narrow as my driveway, and it'd probably be entertaining. But yeah, the Nordschleife is just... It's just insane, and obviously most people here have probably driven it at least at some point. But in these cars, it's something else. I don't know how to quite explain it unless you've driven it yourself, but it really is something special, and especially to watch. I would not miss out on next week, whether if you're going to do the race or if you're just going to watch it. It will be brilliant. It completely randomizes the grid half the time, and who knows, we could get someone next week who's never raced the Radicals before coming onto the series, or someone maybe at the back of the field that will jump all the way to the front. It's going to be great next week, the Nordschleife, as it usually is.
Yeah, the Green Hell in the SR10 never disappoints. This car literally made, arguably, to put down fast times at Nordschleife, and that it does. They're very well suited. As long as you stay off those pesky curbs, you can put some heaters down at the Nordschleife. So looking forward to that, and definitely join us again next Friday, 2100 GMT, to get all of that action. So that is going to wrap up our broadcast today. J.R. Gregory, pardon me. On behalf of Aaron and Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Have a happy Friday and an even better weekend.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get